to True Time Training for Professional Staff. I'm going to take off my camera and share the screen. Right. So for Skyward True Time, this is going to be the way that you clock in and clock out when you take on an extra duty assignment. Again, some of those extra duty assignments could include, and right now we have a lot of CLC facilitators. We have curriculum writing. Eventually, world language will start back up. AP testing and proctoring. So those are some of the ones that happen right now. And then at the end of the school year, we also get into summer school, ESY, STEM and such. So not that you're doing an extra duty assignment now, but if it's something that you pick up, we want to go through and make sure that you know what to do in order to get paid. Some things to remember when you are using True Time, you want to be sure that you're choosing the correct pay code when clocking in. Each time that Stella and I are given a list of names for an extra duty assignment, we send out notification of what your pay code will be for that specific duty, so that when you're clocking in and clocking out, or when you're looking at your timesheet, you're seeing the correct pay code. That's one indicator for you to know if you're getting paid the right way, okay? So that's one, choose the correct extra duty pay code. Two, you want to make sure that you're choosing the correct extra duty supervisor. So some of them extra duty assignments may be the supervisor on the campus that you're at. So that would be your principal, or an AP. But others, for example, like our CLC facilitators, those are going to be like Beth Sanders or Angela Kennedy, Misty Germain, those curriculum coordinators. Those would be your approvers. Again, when you get set up, you'll get the notification that number one has your pay code, but number two will have the supervisor that you'll need to be submitting those timesheets to. And then the third thing is that you want to make sure and submit those timesheets on a weekly basis. Sad to say, but we have several that even from last year haven't submitted their timesheets. And unfortunately, when you're an extra duty assignment, if you don't submit your timesheets, you do not get paid for that. Okay, so it's if you want to get paid for it, you need to submit your timesheets, and we need those on a weekly basis. Okay, clocking in and clocking out. For you guys, for our professionals, everybody should have a laptop available to them. So I would say the easiest thing for you guys to do is to go into your SSO, that's the single sign-on, and you'll see a True Time icon in the SSO. And then once you click on that True Time icon, you're going to see this shortcut right here where you'll put in your 6-digit access code. I'm going to show you at the end of the presentation where to find your 6-digit access code, but you'll also get that in the notification email from myself that shows you that tells you the pay code, it tells you the supervisor, what extra duty you're going to be that you had signed up for, and then it will also indicate the 6-digit access code. But there's other areas for you to clock in and clock out as well. You could go into your employee access, which is where you go to look at your pay stubs. That's what this is going to look at like. You can set up a widget here on the home screen. The left picture shows that. This little widget right here where you can click the drop-down menu and do in and out here. So there's several ways for you to clock in and clock out. There's also a kiosk in the front office. I don't anticipate any of you guys going to the front office just to clock in for extra duty whenever you have the laptop available with you in whatever room that you're assigned to. Okay, so those are ways to clock in and clock out. And so when do you clock in and clock out? For extra duty, it's very simple. At the beginning of your duty and at the end of your duty. Beginning of duty is always going to be the end punch. When you get done with your extra duty assignment, you will do gone for the day, and that will track the time period for that extra duty. Okay. Again, if y'all have questions, be sure you're putting them in the chat. Stella's looking at the chat and we can answer those as they come up. So feel free to jump in there and ask questions as we're going along. Multiple pay codes. Now we have usually our extra duty assignment staff they have multiple jobs or multiple extra duty assignments they do throughout the year. I want to just make a statement that if you have only ever done one extra duty and you're only doing one extra duty throughout the year, you will probably not get a list of pay codes to choose from, okay? But if you do, if you have multiple pay codes, when you clock in, when you push the in button, this is going to pop up a job selection, and you just need to be sure that you're choosing the correct pay code. Again, that's going to be the indicator when it gets over to payroll as to what job you're doing, and it's connected to the rate of pay and the correct account to be paid out of. So this is very important that you're choosing the correct pay code so it connects to the correct account to get you paid, okay? So if I were working a CLC, I would click the checkbox next to CLC and then select or click on select in the top right-hand corner, and that would then punch me in ready to work as a CLC facilitator for that extra duty window, okay? If for any reason you have edits that need to be made, you'll need to go back into the timesheet area. You'll need to go back in where you clock in and clock out, and you'll see a button here that says Edit Notes. So you'll highlight that in punch, and you're going to click Edit Notes, and you will type in the reason that you need the edit. And the very first thing in that field needs to be the correct time. So if you punched in 30 minutes late, or you forgot to punch in at all, we'll hit that in just a second. Ignore that last part. But if you punched in late, or you punched out, you clicked the out button longer than you needed to, you're going to come in here and put an edit note. And so, for example, if I was supposed to start at 3:30 and I forgot to clock in until 3:45, the first thing I'm going to put in that field is 3:30, forgot to clock in, or something along the lines of that. I want that time to be up front so that your supervisor doesn't have to hunt for it, okay? Once you make the edit, your supervisor isn't notified. So if you want to send them a courtesy email, let them know, hey, there's an edit note. That might give them a heads up to go in and look for the edit. Otherwise, all supervisors know where to go to look for edits on a weekly basis to make those corrections for you, okay? Let's say that you forget to clock in for your extra duty at all. So if I'm doing CLC and I did it for a 2-hour window and I forgot to clock in, what you need to do is, as soon as you remember, go ahead and clock in, okay? Before you leave the campus, clock in. Even if it's showing 1 minute, you can then do an edit note. If you get all the way home and remember that you didn't clock in for your extra duty assignment, you will need to send an email to your supervisor, because they will have to manually enter the whole length of time for you, okay? Ignore the lunch, because you will not have any lunch. I mean, you won't be clocking in and out for lunch for extra duty. Stella, do you have anything that you need to add here?
The only thing that
It's okay. Oh.
The only thing that I want to add on to there. Okay, the only thing I want to add on to there is that when you put notes in there, make sure it's just the time and a brief explanation, because it is, the timesheet is available to the public. So it doesn't need to have too much information on it, just the end time and something like I forgot to clock in, and that's about it.
Okay, and when she means that it's available to the public, you have to mute your. Okay, mute your computer as well. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Technical issues, we love them. What she's meaning is, if we ever have any auditors that need to look at our documents, it's not available to the public, as in if you are like any staff can get on there and look at your edits. So just be mindful of what you're putting in there, and just make it as brief as possible. But for sure, we want to know what the time is that needs to be edited. Okay, so when do you submit your timesheets? We talked about that needs to be weekly. So as you're doing your extra duty assignment throughout the week, you just want to be sure that you're clocking in and clocking out. You want to review your timesheet at the end of each week and make sure that all adjustments that you need have been requested. Okay, so if you get to the end of the week and your extra duty and your timesheet looks good, you don't have any adjustments, you can go ahead and submit it on Friday afternoon. Otherwise, you do not want to submit the timesheet if there's edits that need to be made. Okay, you want to give your supervisor through Monday afternoon to make the adjustments. And then by Monday, look at your timesheet again. If everything's correct, go ahead and submit it. That way, the supervisor can approve the timesheets by Tuesday afternoon so that it gets over to payroll. We do this because we want to make sure that timesheets are submitted, approved, and over to payroll on a weekly basis so that they can, on their end, build the worksheets and get your time entered and ready to go for that current pay period. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to pull up the pay cycle that you'll refer back to so that you know when that time is actually going to be paid, when you should expect that pay on your timesheet. Okay, so on a weekly basis, Friday would be great, but if you need adjustments, then give your supervisor till Monday. If they haven't made it by Monday, then you might need to go have a conversation with them or send them a reminder email. But again, I stress, do not submit your timesheet if there is an edit to be made. Okay, by submitting your timesheet, you're signing off on it and saying that everything looks perfect. Okay, so how do you submit? There's a couple of places. They take you to the same exact place, but there's two ways to get to it. In Employee Access, when you're clocking in and clocking out under True Time, you can do View Submit right here. There's a little link. Otherwise, you can click on the True Time tab, and then where it says My Timesheets, you'll go to the Unsubmitted area. Okay, and once you do, again, it takes you to that same place, which is when you click on Unsubmitted, it's going to take you to the same place. There should only be one timesheet in that queue at one time. Okay, because remember, we want to submit those weekly. Now, when you click on Submit, a lot of you are going to get multiple supervisors, right? Because again, remember what I said, you're not just working with your campus supervisor, which would be your principal or your AP. You might also be working with multiple supervisors. So for example, I said like the Beth Sanders or curriculum writing their AP could be Mr. Fahey. Tutoring could be Angela Martin if we start doing tutoring later on in the year. So just be mindful of the different supervisors that you would have available for these extra duties. You're going to see each pay code that you might be doing extra duty for, and then next to each of those pay codes, you'll have a drop-down menu to choose the correct supervisor. You shouldn't have to do this every time. This box will pop up every time, but it's going to remember your selections. So if you go ahead and make your selections or put the correct supervisor for each of the pay codes, the next time when you go to submit, this box will pop up, but it should save exactly what you have already selected, and you can just click on continue to move on to submitting your timesheet. Okay? So highlight the correct timesheet, click submit, and then in the supervisor selection, make sure that all of the supervisors are reading correctly for the pay codes, match them up, and then click continue. Once you click continue, then you can submit your timesheet. Okay? Do we have questions?
Yeah, there's a question.
Okay.
It says if teachers do their prep work over the weekend, how do they put the time in from home?
Okay, so that's a very good question, and we have had this question in the past. If you're doing a job that is requiring you to do it from home, and your supervisor has approved that, you'll need to send them an email with the time that you worked so that they can manually enter that time for you. We can't clock in and clock out from home. Okay, so you'll need to send an email to your supervisor, whoever that is, the supervisor for that extra duty. Okay, let's say that one more time. Whoever the supervisor is for that extra duty assignment, that's who you're going to email with your time that you worked if it is requiring that you do it from home. Okay, are there any more questions? No? Okay. So this is what your timesheet would look like. Up in the top left-hand corner, the correct pay code is going to pop up there and your supervisor. So you want to always look up in the top left-hand corner where it says period summary and make sure that the pay code that your extra duty assignment is and the supervisor for your extra duty assignment are showing up there. Okay. The other part of this pay sheet is going to tell you Monday through Friday, what times did you work? It's going to give you the clock in and clock out. If you made any edits, it's going to show there in the middle section that says notes. And this is another last minute glance for you to say or see that if you put any notes, if you put any edits in, did that time get adjusted? You'll be able to see the start and end time to know if it matches up with if you have any notes. For example, on a Thursday, on the picture that's showing up on your screen right now, Thursday says 7:30 to 5:15. My note says clock out time should be 5:15. So both of those time match up, which is good. So I would be okay to submit this timesheet. Your supervisor is going to see colors. They're going to see in green that there was an edit. This is another way for them to have their eyes drawn when they're approving timesheets to make sure everything is matching up as well. Okay. So this is a good view of your timesheet of what you should be looking for. Do each of my days show up on here? Does my start and end time look correct? Are all of my notes, have the corrections been made? And then again, in the top left-hand corner is my correct pay code and supervisor showing up. Okay, if all of that's correct, then you can submit. If something is wrong, then you want to hold off and make sure that those things get taken care of before submitting. Okay, I'm going to pull up a page of I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the pay sheet. So give me 1 second on that. To look for the current or for this year's pay schedule, you're going to go to the website and you'll click on departments and then payroll. When you get to payroll, come down and you're going to look at payroll schedules. Okay, and you're going to be looking at the monthly payroll schedule. This will be the area, the start and end times of the hour. Like if any of your working time falls into between the start and end time, this will be the pay date on the far right-hand side. Okay. So this kind of shows you, this gives you an idea of when when that extra duty assignment worked, where you should expect the pay. Questions regarding this? Okay. The other place I wanted to show you is where to see your employee ID. Okay, so I'm going to log in as my fake person here. Hold on just a second. So this is the SSO. This is, I'm glad that we're doing this. This is the SSO, and I'm sure you all are very acquainted with the SSO, but here's that true time icon I was referring to. So you can click on that, and this is where you're going to put in that 6-digit access code so that it logs you in. So here's where you would clock in and clock out. I'm going to punch in, and I would have my job selection. I'm going to choose CLC. I'm going to click select, and now I'm punched in as a CLC facilitator. Okay. If I needed to adjust my time, for example, I was here at 3 and not 3:30, I'm going to click on edit note. I'm going to say 3 p.m. Forgot to clock in. And I'm going to hit save. And now that's on my timesheet. I'm going to go ahead and clock out because really I only needed to do 30 minutes. So I'm going to be done. I'm going to click gone for the day. And now I have my time. Right here, I can go ahead and look at my timesheet if I wanted to. I'm going to view that timesheet and I'm going to, so he's a bad representation. You should only ever have one in here. Okay, this is my fake person. So I'm going to view the timesheet and I can see that there's my note. I don't want to submit this timesheet because look, my note says 3 o'clock, but the time says 3:37. That does not match up. So I would not submit this timesheet. but we're gonna pretend that it's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit submit. And this is the area where you need to match the pay code with the correct supervisor. So I'm gonna come and choose the correct supervisor for each of these. And I mean, these are all not the right people, but I'm just showing you that you can change your selections, hit continue, and then I would be able to go ahead and submit the timesheet. Okay. You want to make sure the supervisor is showing correctly and the pay code is showing correctly. Neither of those have the correct thing up here. So again, this would be another warning for me not to submit this timesheet, which I'm going to back out of that really quickly. Okay. Okay, so that was the SSO, and now I'm going to log into Skyward really quickly so I can show you where to find your 6-digit access code. It is the same as your employee ID. Okay. You can look at Grover here. Okay, so when you log into Employee Access, I logged into the wrong place. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, when you log into Employee Access, this will be your home page. To find your employee ID number, you're going to go to Employee Information, Personal Information. Along the left, you'll click on Personnel Info, and this is the employee ID. So this will be your 6-digit number, which will be the access code, the same as your true time access code to clock in and clock out for extra duty. Okay. This is also the area where you can go to true time. You can do the quick entry for clocking in and clocking out. You can do unsubmitted to submit your timesheets. You can look at history to see any timesheets that you've ever submitted or got paid off of. All of that would be here. Okay, so this is all things true time inside of Employee Access. Okay. Here's the widget I was referring to. If you wanted to create a shortcut right here on your, I'm sorry, right here. If you wanted to create a shortcut on your home page, right here where it says jump to other dashboards, you can click on select widgets. You can do true time current status, hit save, and it would then give you the shortcut here. It's movable. If you want to move it, you can do that. And this is where you can click on the drop down arrow to punch in and punch out right here off of your dashboard. Okay. That is the extent of extra duty. It's pretty simple and it's really short, but wanted to make sure that you guys had the information. Are there any other questions that need to be dropped into the chats? No? Okay. Stella's saying no. Stella, do you have anything that you want to add?
I think that's it. You covered everything.
Okay. I'm going to pull my computer. My really quickly. Thank you guys for attending. And I'm going to put my contact information. I'll go ahead and put that back up there. So if you guys need to contact me, I'm at spartane@ems-isd.net. And Stella's at smendoza. But you'll want to contact Priscilla Finch, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to want to contact Priscilla Finch if you have a payroll question. So anything regarding pay codes, your pay, your timesheets, you're going to want to contact them for that.
And Belinda
Barker. So those will be your contacts. Again, thank you for joining. I'll put the contact page back up there and let us know if you have questions in the future.